request Mr. Gandhi to come up on the stage for the interactive session. And let this interactive session create a path for change in our lives. Please give him a round of applause, guys.
Thank you.
Welcome, sir.
How are you?
I'm good. Hi.
Okay, let's start.
You can
So
start with
please.
the introduction.
You want me to start?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Good morning. How are you? How are you doing? I've not come here dressed in my normal uniform. There's a logic to that. I've come here not really to tell you what I think. I've come here more to understand what you expect from people like us. I want you, so of course it's not going to be one way, it's going to be two way. I will put in what I think in the middle, but I'm much more interested in trying to understand what are the type of things that we should be focusing on, what are the type of things that are disturbing you, what are the type of things where we can work together to make your life easier. There are a couple of central themes that I would like to discuss. So one, of course, is jobs and the job crisis in our country. And two is the type of situation you're faced with in your education system. That would be the broad theme of what I would be talking, but I'm much more here to listen, so you can start. Final thing, of course, you'll have questions for me. I'm happy to answer them. If you want me to answer in English, ask me in English. If you want me to answer in Hindi, ask me in Hindi. I don't speak Tamil and some other languages, so my friends from the south, you'll have to ask me in English. Go ahead.
So there had been a lot of questions. बहुत सारे questions आए, सबके बहुत सारी प्रश्न उत्तर सब लोग बहुत चाहते हैं कि आप उनकी problems का solution बताएं. So लेकिन हम कुछ ही questions ले पाए हैं. It does not mean कि बाकियों के questions consider नहीं हुए हैं. Because we have constraint of time, so कुछों के questions address होंगे. So please guys, make use of this movement. जो पूछना है पूछिए, because वो हम सब students का हक है, right? Am I right? So the first question is from Bhavishya Mehta, Delhi School of Economics. Bhavishya, are you here? Bhavishya.
Good morning.
I'm from Delhi School of Economics, currently pursuing MA Economics. Sir, I've done my graduation from Hindu, and there we used to have like parliamentary system in student union. And I'm the former Prime Minister of Hindu College. So, sir, एक बात कहना चाहूँगा.
That's pretty impressive.
Sir, मेरा नाम.
Can I ask you just one thing? You see, when you're my age,
Yes, sir.
and you're talking to students, they call you sir, you feel uncomfortable. I'll tell you why. Because I'm at that age where, there's a gap between me and you. And I remember that place. So I remember when people like me used to come and I used to say, sir. So call me by my first name. Call me Rahul. That makes me more comfortable. So, Mr. Prime Minister, go ahead, ask me the question.
Sir, मेरा नाम भविष्य है, and I'm quite hopeful I'm talking to the next Prime Minister of our country. So, sir, मेरा सवाल ये है कि the present government, like they have reduced the higher education budget. The UGC budget has been cut down almost to the tune of 55%. And on the other hand, we see like many other institutions being created in other arenas. Higher education financing agency has been created. तो वो एजेंसी क्या कर रही है? वो कह रही है कि सेंट्रल इंस्टीट्यूट्स को उनके मेंबर्स बनिए एंड लोन्स लीजिए उनसे. So these loans will, in the long run, change the entire system of our education from the public funded grant base to a loan base, because ये loans वापस pay करने पड़ेंगे. Ultimately, the burden will fall on students. सब पे हम पे burden आएगा students पे, क्योंकि fees ही ज़्यादा होगी, college को पैसा generate ज़्यादा करना पड़ेगा. तो my question is, sir, the present situation of education and higher education, especially the funding, उसकी दशा बहुत ही चिंता नहीं है, और सर आप इसको कैसे एक नई दिशा दे सकते हैं?
आपने हिंदी में भी बोला, अंग्रेजी में भी बोला, तो मतलब दोनों में जवाब दूं? मिक्स्ड, ठीक है. देखिए, पिछले 5 साल में the government has forgiven 3,50,000 crore rupees bank loans of 15 to 20 big businessmen. Let me give you a sense of what 3,50,000 crores is. 3,50,000 crores is approximately 10 years of Manrega. Now I got a question for you. 3,50,000 crores is forgiven for 15 people. Millions of students take bank loans. How many of your bank loans have been forgiven? Oh, why are you quiet? Have they been forgiven? No. So, we have massive bank loans of 15 of the richest people in the country being forgiven. But when farmers ask for forgiveness of the bank loans, the government says, no way. Students, of course, you don't ask. I don't know why you don't ask, but you don't ask. So the question is, why is everything being done for 15, 20 people? Look at your cell phones. 3, 4 companies own the entire architecture. Look at the port infrastructure. 1 company owns it. So there is a concentration of wealth taking place in India. And privatization is basically designed to help those 15, 20, 30 people. And the idea is very simple. The state should not pay for your education. You should pay for your education. And the money you pay for your education should go to those 15, 20 people. And we are fundamentally against that. We're absolutely 100% certain that the state must pay for large parts of your education. The state must support your education, and much more money should be going into the education budget than is going into it today. And you can see a steep decline in the amount of money that is going into education today compared to when we were in government. It's a massive decline. You can also look at the numbers and you'll see that when we were in power in UPA, we opened more than 20, 24 universities. Do you know how many universities have been opened over the last 5 years? One. Yeah. So that's the point. We believe that government has to support education, government must support healthcare. Because without these two, we are not moving forward. And the BJP is convinced that you can use private industry to support education, and privatization is the key to education. We don't believe that. That's broadly. And then when I say the government should support, I mean making bank loans easier, scholarships, adding numbers of universities and colleges, pushing school enrollment. So all these numbers, if you look across, you'll see that every single one of these numbers has fallen in the BJP regime.
So we have next, thank you so much, sir. We have next question from Kapil from Campus Law Center. Kapil, are you here? Please raise your hand.
Why have you disappeared there? Come here. Where's Kapil? Yes.
गुड आफ्टरनून ऑल ऑफ यू. गुड आफ्टरनून राहुल जी.
Good afternoon.
सर मेरा आपसे सवाल था, पिछले 100 सालों से हमारे देश में बहुत अच्छी यूनिवर्सिटीज़, अलीगढ़, इलाहाबाद, पटना, डीयू, जेएनयू, बहुत से हम सब स्टूडेंट्स के भविष्य का निर्माण करने में लगी हुई हैं. लेकिन पिछले दिनों सुनने में आया कि ये सरकार ने जो यूनिवर्सिटी अभी अस्तित्व में ही नहीं है उसको सर्वश्रेष्ठ यूनिवर्सिटी का इन्होंने टैग दिया. तो आप इसको किस नज़र से देखते हैं?
देखिए, आज अगर आप उन 15, 20, 30, 40 बड़े उद्योगपतियों में से हैं तो आपको जो टैग चाहिए आपको मिल जाएगा. आपको आईआईटी का टैग चाहिए, आपको आईआईटी का टैग मिल जाएगा. आपको एमआईटी का, हार्वर्ड का टैग चाहिए, आपको हार्वर्ड एमआईटी का टैग मिल जाएगा. तो जब आप आईआईटी को देखते हैं, आईआईटी का जो रेपुटेशन बना है, पूरी दुनिया में बना है, वो 2 साल में नहीं बना है. और गलतफहमी नहीं होनी चाहिए. आईआईटी का जो टैग बना है सिर्फ आईआईटी के प्रोफेसर्स और आईआईटी के टीचर्स और आईआईटी के इंस्ट्रक्टर से नहीं बना है. आईआईटी के स्टूडेंट्स ने आईआईटी के टैग को बनाया है. रियलिटी है. मैंने जब भी आईआईटी की बात होती है, बाहर से लोग आते हैं तो मुझे कहते हैं कि हम आईआईटी के स्टूडेंट से इंप्रेस होते हैं. किसी ने मुझे यह नहीं कहा कि मैं आईआईटी के इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर से इंप्रेस्ड हूं या आईआईटी की बिल्डिंग से इंप्रेस्ड हूं. सब कहते हैं भैया मैं तो आईआईटी के जो स्टूडेंट्स निकल के आते हैं मैं उनसे इंप्रेस्ड हूं. और उस इंस्टीट्यूशन में तो अभी एक स्टूडेंट आया ही नहीं है. तो आईआईटी के बारे में अगर आप मुझे पूछें, IIT is a 1950s institution that is producing world-class students today. And it is doing an exceptional job. But the IIT of today has to be a completely different structure. We have to think of transforming the IITs into knowledge centers, into knowledge networks. And the way we do that, very simple. The only way to do that is by giving them autonomy. By telling them, you are responsible for what you are going to do. The government is not going to impose ideas on you. The government is not going to put pressure on you. The government is going to give you the resources you need. It is for your students, your teachers, your professors to decide what IIT should be doing, what IIT should be pushing. Now, this is a completely different philosophy. आज आप किसी भी इंस्टीट्यूशन में पूछ लीजिए, वाइस चांसलर्स आइडियोलॉजिकल लोग बैठाए जा रहे हैं. किसी से भी आप पूछ लीजिए, वाइस चांसलर एक संगठन के आइडियोलॉजिकल लोग एक के बाद एक, एक के बाद एक, एक के बाद एक यूनिवर्सिटीज, कॉलेजेस में बैठाए जा रहे हैं. उनको जो ग्लोबल विजन होता है, जो स्टूडेंट्स की फीलिंग्स होती हैं, उससे कुछ लेना देना नहीं. उनको सिर्फ अपनी आइडियोलॉजी से लेना देना है. और वो चाहते हैं कि हिंदुस्तान का एजुकेशन सिस्टम उनका औजार बन जाए. एंड दैट इज फ्रैंकली एन इंसल्ट टू यू. इट इज अ मैसिव इंसल्ट टू यू बिकॉज the educational system of India should only be the instrument of the youngsters of India. It should be nothing else. It should not be the instrument of one organization. It should not be the instrument of some ideology. It should be the instrument of you people. It belongs to you. So our response is to give independence to these institutions, to give empowerment to these institutions, and our job is to make sure you have the funding you require, to make sure that you're working within a basic principle. Our job is not to define exactly what you're supposed to do. That's your job. That is the difference between the two approaches.
Next we have Shruti Gautam from North Campus. Shruti Gautam.
Good morning, Rahul sir. Sir,
कहाँ हैं आप?
right. Hello sir.
There are lights here, so.
It's okay. सर मेरा नाम श्रुति गौतम है और मैं पीएचडी कर रही हूँ दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी से। सर मेरा सवाल देश के उन जवानों के लिए है जो देश के लिए अपनी जान दे देते हैं और उन्हें हम शहीद कहते हैं, लेकिन सरकारी तौर पर उन्हें शहीद का दर्जा नहीं मिलता। सर आप हमारे नेता हैं, हम आपसे अपेक्षा रखते हैं कि उन्हें ये दर्जा प्राप्त हो, उन्हें जो संघर्ष उनके बाद जो संघर्ष
मैं आपसे बिल्कुल सहमत हूँ। पैरामिलिट्रीज को जो शहीद का दर्जा नहीं मिलता है, मिलना चाहिए और हमारी सरकार आएगी तो मिलेगा। एक्चुअली अगर आप देखें, और मेरा काफ़ी पैरामिलिट्रीज से काफ़ी कांटेक्ट रहता है क्योंकि मेरे सिक्योरिटी वाले सब पैरामिलिट्री से आते हैं। अगर आप देखें तो जो हमारे पैरामिलिट्रीज के सोल्जर्स हैं, सीआरपीएफ, बीएसएफ, आईटीबीपी, सीआईएसएफ, इनकी कैजुअलिटीज ज़्यादा होती हैं, मगर इनको इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर सपोर्ट कम मिलती है, और ये सही बात नहीं है। तो आपने बहुत सही चीज उठाई है, उनको शहीद का दर्जा मिलना चाहिए और मिलेगा।
Next we have Piyush Chaudhary from Delhi University. Piyush. Piyush Chaudhary.
We will do that. Let's just go to Piyush.
Give them the mic, please. Please give Piyush mic. Piyush, please ask your question.
Yeah.
Hi Rahul. Hi. My name is Piyush Chaudhary. And
Nice to meet you.
is it working? Okay, yeah.
It's working.
Yeah. So I'm a research student at the University of Delhi, and I'm also working as a guest lecturer at Delhi University. I'm teaching at JMC, Jesus and Mary College. So my question is that what
Piyush,
about this?
mic please थोड़ा पास रख के बात करिए,
Yeah, right.
आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही है।
So sir, my question is that what about the condition of the ad hoc lecturers that we have, because we guys have to work with, in a very in difficult conditions.
Piyush,
How is Congress going to?
Just hold it
How
close
is
here.
Congress going to work upon the situation of the ad hocs, of the guest lecturers? Because it ultimately affects the students also, the conditions in which we are living. So this is my question.
The simple thing is, how much money do you put into education? When you're saying, how do you think about guest lecturers? You can only solve that problem of guest lecturers, make them permanent, if you're putting in more money into the education system. So our view is that every single teacher in this country, every single professor in this country should have a certain comfort in his life. He must not feel uncertainty. So we would try and push to make sure that this ad hoc lecturer, ad hoc teacher business is changed and you get a permanent position. To do that, you have to put in more money. Currently, the amount of money the BJP government is putting into education, you simply can't achieve that. So the first step is to transform the way we think about education in the budget. And that is something that we're committed to. Yeah.
Next we have Mehek Haider from Jesus and Mary College. Please give the mic to Mehek. Mic check. Mehek. Please check the mic. It is not working.
Hello.
Good afternoon, Mr. Rahul. Sir, we are seeing a massive rise in the right-wing politics all over the nations in this world, including India. So how does Congress plan to tackle this right-wing rise?
The right wing, why do you think you're seeing a right wing rise? What is your sense? What is the reason behind it?
I mean, even in India, we are seeing that not this year. This year, we saw Congress win elections in 3 major states, but over the past 3 years, BJP has been winning in a lot of states. Then in US, we have the Trump government,
Yeah.
and we also have Putin in Russia. And we have, in different countries, we have a lot of right-wing we see a rise in the right-wing politics, in the ideology of the right-wing politics.
Do you feel the level of anger in India is increasing or decreasing?
Increasing, definitely.
Increasing? And everybody feels that the level of anger is rising in India? Why do you think the level of anger is rising in India? That's it. Who said that? What did he say? No jobs. You see, if you look at all these countries, if you look at India, you look at America, you look at Europe, the central problem is that none of these countries are able to give jobs to their youngsters. And this is a problem in India. You're educated at the highest level. But I'm sorry to tell you, you're entering a world where it will not be easy for you to get a job. It's going to be difficult. And that is why you're seeing anger which is rising, and the right wing is utilizing that anger. The only solution to this, and I keep repeating it, the only solution to this is that India starts to understand that it has a job crisis and actually starts to work to resolve that job crisis. Simple thing I'll tell you. For all the Make in India, all that stuff, our main opponent is China. You look at your phones, look at your shoes, look at your jacket, look behind it. You'll have Made in China written there. Every time you see that line, remember that that job could have either gone to Indians or could have gone to China. And we are simply refusing, and our government is refusing to accept that we have a massive crisis and a potential disaster in front of us. And it is our duty, your duty, my duty, to first accept that we have a job crisis, and then second, to get India to work to actually resolve this crisis, which is very possible. I have no doubt in my mind, not 1 inch, 1 centimeter, that China cannot be challenged and overtaken by this country. I do not believe that. I'm absolutely convinced if this country turns around and says, भैया हमें ये काम करना है, और जैसे गांधी जी कहते थे, अगर सब लोगों ने मन बना लिया, तो इस देश को कोई नहीं हरा सकता है, कोई पीछे नहीं कर सकता है. बट हमारी जो सरकार है वो एक्सेप्ट ही नहीं करना चाहती है. वो एक्सेप्ट ही नहीं करना चाहती है कि जॉब क्राइसिस है. So first step is acceptance of a problem. Second step is to galvanize everybody and say, listen, we have to fight this problem. So that is where I have an issue with them. Has the Prime Minister ever come and had a conversation with you like this? Has it ever happened? Now I'm coming here, right? You can ask me unpleasant questions. You can say to me, you can. Because I fully understand that there might be people here who might have questions for me that would be difficult to answer. I'm coming here because I want to communicate with you. I want to understand what are the questions going to come. Our Prime Minister doesn't do that. I've said to him 50 times, please come and debate with me. Debate with me on Rafael. Debate with me on corruption. Debate with me debate with me on jobs, debate with me on defense, anything you want, come. But the Prime Minister refuses. Forget me. Who am I? Nobody. Why doesn't he come and stand in front of you here and say, students of India, come, let's talk? Why doesn't he say that as Prime Minister of this country, I'm facing a challenge? The challenge is that we are not able to produce jobs. And I need your help, your commitment to work with me to solve this problem. Why doesn't he say that? Because that's really what the Prime Minister is supposed to do. The Prime Minister is not supposed to come and lecture you on what he thinks. The Prime Minister is supposed to inspire you and make you feel, yes, I can actually do this job. I'm going to work with this man. We're going to get it done. That's what the Prime Minister is supposed to do. Right? So what is happening is we're making excuses. We're sitting there as a country and we're making excuses. There's no job crisis. There's no farm crisis. There's no education crisis. There's no health crisis. And we're wasting time. And what's important for you to understand, the future is not ours. The future is yours. This country is going to belong to you, not to us. And so you have a responsibility towards this country. Because you are the people who's going to actually move this country forward. And you're very capable, inspiring people. And we need to understand and utilize your passion, your skills, your understanding to move this country forward. I'm sorry, I got a bit worked up because I think about this thing. You know, do you know how many jobs India produces? Government figures. Government figures. Do you know how many jobs India produces every 24 hours? Look at this, 450. You see this group of people here? 1.2 billion people. This group here is how many jobs the whole country is producing. Finance Ministry figures, not Rahul Gandhi, in Parliament, Lok Sabha. Now, in the same 24 hours, China, who I'm absolutely convinced we can move ahead of, produces 50,000. We produce 450. They produce 50,000. And the Prime Minister doesn't seem to think this is a problem.
So next we have Livingston Gangmei Zakir Hussain College. Livingston, can you please raise your hand?
Hello.
Hello. Hi, Rahulji.
How are you?
I'm very good.
Where are you from?
I'm actually from Assam.
Okay.
And now I'm currently studying in pursuing my BA philosophy from Zakir Hussain Delhi College.
How are you feeling about what's going on in Assam?
I'm really not satisfied with the current government out there too, and the current government here in the central too. But my question is, according to UGC, as of 6 September 2017, there are 805 universities in India with a breakup of 47 central universities and 370 state universities, of which there are only 10 central universities in northeastern state, total of 8 state and 13 state universities. Such lack of higher institutions are forcing us, students of northeastern people, to move to different parts of India in order to pursue our higher education. So there is clearly a deprivation of higher education institution in northeastern India. Even the 10th Central University was created during the UPA government. But now my question is, as you are the president of All India Congress, and if can you or we appeal to you to solve this massive crisis of student migration from the northeastern state, if by creating more central universities in northeastern state, if this party score as majority in the upcoming Lok Sabha election?
Well, you can tell all your friends in the Northeast that I'm absolutely committed, 100% committed to increasing the number of higher education institutions in the Northeast.
Yes, I'm very satisfied, sir.
Rahul sir, we have a very informal question with you now.
Okay?
So as students, we are in the process of making memories in college. So what is one of the striking memory or one of the thing which reminds you of Delhi campus or anything like that which you want to share with all of us? Because thoda mahol garam ho
I mean,
gaya, so
I remember getting ragged in St. Stephen's near the big tree there. So that was a memory there. And I remember my professor of history giving us some lectures in St. Stephen's College. That was interesting. He had some particular ideas, different type of ideas. That was when I was at Stephen's. When I went to the United States, I got quite a cultural shock when I went to American universities. I was in Harvard University, and I was shocked at how aggressively they asked questions and how the teacher or the professor was almost 24/7 under attack, and he had to be very careful what he said compared to our history professor, who everybody in the class basically listened to, believed, and didn't really question. So I saw that big difference. Those would be the two.
And one more thing, what are your views about freedom of speech in academia? Like, if we consider the current scenario, so freedom of speech is something I think we all students launch for that. Because that is the pehchan of Delhi University, we can say.
I think freedom of speech and freedom of expression, I'm 100% for that. Sometimes students say things that are not absolutely correct. Fine, you're allowed to make mistakes. That's why you're called youngsters. That's why you're called students. I draw the line where you start behaving violently. So if you're saying something, no matter how unpleasant, it's okay. But if you're threatening people, beating them up, bullying them, bashing them up, then I draw the line. So for me, freedom of expression, as long as it's verbal, as long as it's expressed in a non-violent, in a gentle way, I'm okay with it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Also, we request you all to be crisp and brief with the questions as we have time constraint.
सर आपने अभी सेंट स्टीफेंस कॉलेज की बात की तो नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज फ्रॉम सेंट स्टीफेंस कॉलेज कुनवर एस सिंह आई रिक्वेस्ट कुनवर एस सिंह टू प्लीज स्टैंड अप प्लीज गिव हिम अ माइक
Hello.
थैंक यू
Hi, sir.
Hello.
Hello, Rahul, sir. Sir, so I have a question and two small grievances, and as you are my leader, so I expect you to solve them. Sir, my question is, should education be more student-centric with integration of civil, moral, and ethical values inculcated in our curriculum system? And sir, two small grievances, which I would like. Sir, I would request you to please tell Kaushal, sir, to be a little bit more accessible to students like me.
Poor, I tell him that, but he has thousands and thousands and thousands of phone calls that he receives. I will tell him to be more accessible, but he does have a lot of pressure, the poor fellow.
And sir, the last thing is your college invite. You agreed to the students of our college to come to our college 3 years back. Then we asked you again last year, and you said you will come this year. So now again extending the invitation to you to please do come to your alma mater.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, sorry, what was your first point was?
Sir, should education be more student-centric with integration of civil, moral, and ethical values in the current curriculum?
I think education should be empowering for students. It should allow them to think out of the box. It should make them comfortable of making mistakes. They should feel that, you can make a mistake and learn from the mistake. So it should be forgiving, and it should be empowering. I don't believe in a rigid structure where every student is told, you know, this is what you're going to think, this is what you're going to do. I think you're actually the strength of our country, and we need to make you feel empowered, make you feel as if you are a very capable, effective person. We must not crush your spirit.
And sir, one last thing. I have this small little research paper which I would like to give you.
Come,
if the
come,
security-
give. Thank you. Nice to meet you. I'll tell him. Okay. Okay.
Thank you. Next we have Mohil Singla from Hindu College. Mohil, can you just give him a mic? Thank you.
Good morning.
So that's the competition. How are you?
I'm good, sir. How are you, sir?
I'm well.
Yeah, sir. मौजूदा सरकारी one sec.
Relax, relax, don't worry.
मौजूदा सरकारी नीतियों के साथ आज उच्च शिक्षा के हाल हमारे सामने है, और इसका खतरा हमें, हमारे नौजवान भाइयों को और अपने समाज को पड़ता है. सर, आपका उसमें इंटरवीन करना चाहिए.
ठीक है.
Thank you.
Okay. Listen, let me tell you, this happens to everybody, huh? I mean, every single person, including myself, every now and then gets nervous. So don't worry about it. Relax. Yeah? Do you want to say something else?
That's it. We finished it.
Thank you. Next we have Nazeeb ur Rahman from University of Delhi. Nazeeb. Yeah.
गुड आफ्टरनून सर.
Good afternoon.
नजीबुर रहमान, दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी से पीएचडी कर रहा हूँ मैं.
किस चीज में करने?
दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी से पीएचडी कर रहा हूँ.
किस सब क्या?
उर्दू डिपार्टमेंट से. उर्दू. सर मैं ये कहना चाह रहा हूँ आपसे. सर, जब से ये सरकार आई है 5 सालों से, जब से सरकार आई है, मुल्क में नफरत, खौफ, दहशत, डर का माहौल ख़त्म होने का नाम नहीं ले रहा. अब तो ये हाल है कि हमारी एजुकेशनल इंस्टीट्यूशन जो हैं, वहाँ से भी लोगों को गायब कर दिया जाता है कभी, और कुछ लोगों को फांसी में मजबूर किया जाता है, फांसी के फंदे पर चढ़ रहे हैं. और वहाँ का जो माहौल तैयार किया जा रहा है, कुछ इन कैंपसों को दहशतगर्द का अड्डा करार देने की पूरी कोशिश हो रही है. लोग उसके पीछे पड़े हुए हैं. तो सर, मुल्क की निगाहें आप पर टिकी हुई हैं. मुल्क के नौजवान आप मसीहा नज़र आ रहे हैं. कल अगर आपकी हुकूमत आती है, और इंशाल्लाह आएगी, तो सर इसको आप इस सूरत हाल को कैसे टैकल करेंगे सर?
देखिए, हिंदुस्तान में मैसेज प्रधानमंत्री देता है. जो प्रधानमंत्री कहता है, बोलता है, जो उसकी फीलिंग होती है, वो ट्रांसमिट होती है पूरे सिस्टम में. तो जो ये नफरत की सिचुएशन है, नफरत का माहौल है, अगर प्राइम मिनिस्टर क्लियर मैसेज दे कि हिंदुस्तान एक है, हिंदुस्तान में सब लोग एक हैं, हिंदुस्तान में प्यार और भाईचारा होना चाहिए, हिंदुस्तान अपने आप ठंडा हो जाएगा. ये नेचुरल चीज है इस देश की. इस देश का जो इतिहास है और इस देश की हिस्ट्री अगर किसी ने पढ़ी हो, तो ये भाईचारे प्यार का देश है, ये नफरत का देश नहीं. तो ये इसकी नेचुरल क्वालिटी है कि ये हमारे लोग एक दूसरे से मतलब अच्छी तरह बर्ताव करना चाहते हैं, प्यार से रहना चाहते हैं. तो अगर लीडरशिप डायरेक्शन देगी, ऑटोमेटिकली वो थोड़ा अपने आप ठंडा होगा. और दूसरी बात जो मैंने कही थी, जो लोगों में गुस्सा आ रहा है, देखिए, मैं कुछ दिन पहले जो ये हमारे सीआरपीएफ के जवान शहीद हुए, उनके मैं घर गया, और रास्ते पे शामली तक 2.5 घंटे गाड़ी में गए, और रास्ते में बेरोजगार युवा एक के बाद एक पूछो भैया क्या करते हो, कुछ नहीं करते हैं, क्या करते हो, कुछ नहीं करते हैं, क्या करते हो, कुछ नहीं करते हैं। तो अगर जब तक जॉब की क्राइसिस को ठीक नहीं किया जाएगा तब तक नफरत नहीं जाने वाली। तो ये इसका दो सॉल्यूशन है, एक आप जॉब की क्राइसिस को रिजॉल्व करो, किसानों के दिल में जो डर है उसको मिटाओ, और फिर भाईचारे की बात करो और सबको एक साथ ले जाने की कोशिश करो। ऑटोमेटिकली हिंदुस्तान चालू हो जाएगा, काम करना शुरू कर देगा।
Rahul sir, so there's another question. Like you have seen many violences in your personal life also. So how they shaped your life?
Okay.
Yeah. So that is, if you can elaborate.
So I'm actually, when I went to Shamli, I went to speak to the two families, and when I was talking to one of the boys, I suddenly realized, when I was talking to him, that my father had also been killed by a bomb. You know, it was something while I was talking, I suddenly realized, oh, I have been in this young man's place. So I felt that I knew what it felt like to be where he was. I knew what it felt like to have your father blown to pieces. I've seen it. And I've seen with my grandmother also shot 32 bullets. So I've grown up with that. And what I told him was that, look, those who have understood, those who have felt violence, will never think of violence as a solution. वो naturally, अगर आप मुझे कहो, और मेरे फैमिली के 2 मेंबर्स की हत्या हुई है, अगर आप मुझे कहो कि हिंसा से या आप चीज ठीक कर सकते हो, मैं आपको इमीडिएटली जवाब दूंगा, हिंसा से ठीक नहीं हो सकती है। हिंसा को हिंसा कभी नहीं काट सकती है, हिंसा को सिर्फ प्यार काट सकता है और कुछ नहीं काट सकता है। आप मुझ पे हिंसा करेंगे, मैं आप पे हिंसा करूंगा, आप मुझ पे हिंसा करेंगे, आप मुझ पे, चलता जाएगा। और ये देश की आप हिस्ट्री देखेंगे, गांधी जी, बुद्धा, महावीर, पीछे जाइए जितना जाना चाहते हैं, अशोक, आपको दिखेगा कि इस देश का मैसेज, हिंसा को आप सिर्फ प्यार से काट सकते हो, प्यार का इस्तेमाल करो, प्यार हिंसा को एकदम मिटा देगा। और यही फिलॉसफी थी, आपने देखा होगा, यही फिलॉसफी थी। नरेंद्र मोदी जी मुझे एक के बाद एक पार्लियामेंट हाउस में, मतलब मेरे परिवार के बारे में बोल रहे थे, मैं जाके गले लग गया। मेरा कहना था, बोलो जितना बोलना है। अब आपके दिल में गुस्सा है, नफरत है, मैं उसको क्यों पकड़ूं? मेरे दिल में तो नहीं है, मैं तो आपके आके गले लग रहा हूं। और आप अपनी लाइफ में भी कोशिश करिए, आप अपनी लाइफ में देखिए, आप ट्राई कीजिए, जादू है ये,
जादू की शक्ति,
जादू है, मैं बता रहा हूं। आपसे कभी क्लास में या कहीं कोई नफरत करता है, तो आप उसकी नफरत को एक्सेप्ट मत करो, उससे जाके गले लग जाओ, उससे प्यार से बात करो, देखो क्या होता है। आप बिलीव नहीं करोगे इसका इंपैक्ट कैसे जाता है। मतलब मैं आपको बताता हूं, फिजिकली जब मैंने मोदी जी से गले लगा, जब मैं गले लगा, एक्चुअली उनकी बॉडी में मैंने फील किया कि ये क्या हुआ, ये कैसे हुआ, मुझे प्यार कैसे किसी ने दिखा दिया। क्योंकि रियलिटी है, मैं आपको बताता हूं, देखिए समझने की बात है, मेरी नरेंद्र मोदी जी से कोई नफरत नहीं है। रियलिटी की बात है कि नरेंद्र मोदी जी को उनकी फीलिंग है कि उनको जो शायद प्यार मिलना चाहिए था, जब मैं आपको बताता हूं, जब मेरी दादी मरी, जब मेरी दादी की डेथ हुई, तो मेरे पापा बंगाल में थे। और फ्रैंकली मेरी जो दादी थी वो मेरे लिए एक प्रकार से मेरी मां से भी ज्यादा थी, क्योंकि मेरी मां थोड़ी स्ट्रिक्ट थी। मेरी मां मतलब डिसिप्लिनेरियन थी घर में, और मेरी दादी के पीछे मैं जाके छुप जाता था। तो एक प्रकार से मुझे प्रोटेक्शन मिलता था। जब मेरी दादी मरी तो मैं बिल्कुल डिस्टर्ब हुआ। और पापा बंगाल में थे, और मुझे काफी गुस्सा था अंदर जब मेरी दादी की हत्या हुई, क्योंकि मेरी दादी की हत्या आपको मालूम हो ना हो, मगर मेरी दादी की हत्या उनके सिक्योरिटी वालों ने की थी, और वो सिक्योरिटी वाले मुझे जानते थे। एक्चुअली एक प्रकार से मेरे दोस्त थे। मुझे मतलब सतवंत सिंह ने, जिसने मुझे मेरी दादी को गोली मारी, उसने मुझे बैडमिंटन सिखाया। तो मुझे गुस्सा था, मगर जब मेरे पापा आए और मेरे पापा मुझसे गले लगे, एकदम गुस्सा चला गया। तो मेरा कहना है कि आप अपनी लाइफ में देखो, आपसे कितना भी गुस्सा कर ले, कितनी भी गाली लगा दे, आप एक बार ट्राई करो, जाके गले लग जाओ, देखो क्या होता है।
आई थिंक सर अब जादू की जप्पी वाला फंडा सब अपनाएंगे।
Next we have Gaurav Soni from Shri Aurobindo College. Gaurav Soni. Just pass the mic to him.
लास्ट है गाइस, और ये लास्ट क्वेश्चन है।
भाई एक दो और पूछने दो, डोंट वरी, वी विल मैनेज द टाइम।
ठीक है,
कैन वी डू अ लिटिल बिट मोर कौशल टाइम? 10 minutes?
Good afternoon, sir.
हाँ.
Sir, here. Excuse me.
Where are you now?
Sir.
Yeah.
सर मैं ये पूछना चाहता हूँ राजनीतिक दलों के बारे में।
ये भैया थोड़ा बायस चल रहा है, सब क्वेश्चंस यहीं से आ रहे हैं, वहां से नहीं आ रहे हैं। पूछे देन we'll come there. हाँ.
सर हमारे देश के अंदर जो भ्रष्टाचार है वो बहुत एक बड़ा मुद्दा है, ठीक है। सारी पार्टीज एक दूसरे पर आरोप लगाती है कि भाई ये पार्टी भ्रष्ट है, ये पार्टी भ्रष्ट है, और अपने आप को बिल्कुल साफ बताते हैं। तो जो इनकी पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज की फंडिंग है वो आरटीआई के अंदर क्यों नहीं आती? सर आज, सर 1 सेकेंड आई वांट टू, सर आज जो कॉलेज के अंदर जो बच्चे हैं सारे, ये सारे यूथ हैं और पहली बार वोट देंगे, दे विल गिव वोट फर्स्ट टाइम। सर ये क्या सोच के दें? अगर कोई पार्टीज अपनी फंडिंग छुपा रही है कि कहाँ से उनके पास पैसा आ रहा है, अगर वो करोड़ों रुपए लगाकर इलेक्शन लड़ रहे हैं, ठीक है, अपने पैसे निकालेंगे और कमाई करेंगे और फिर अगले इलेक्शन के लिए इकट्ठे करेंगे, और हम कैसे मान लें कि वो हमारा भला करने के लिए आ रहे हैं? वो
तो देखिए, ट्रांसपेरेंसी बढ़नी चाहिए 100%, मगर आपको एक बात समझनी है कि जो पॉलिटिकल पार्टी है वो जनता का इंस्टीट्यूशन है। पॉलिटिकल पार्टी इज ए इंस्टीट्यूशन फॉर ऑल ऑफ यू। जुडिशरी, प्रेस, politicians, bureaucrats, these are all institutions. अगर आप आरटीआई इन पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज की बात करते हैं तो देन व्हाई नॉट आरटीआई इन जुडिशरी, व्हाई नॉट आरटीआई इन प्रेस, व्हाई नॉट आरटीआई इन ब्यूरोक्रेसी फॉर इंडिविजुअल ब्यूरोक्रेट्स? सो आई एम ऑल फॉर ट्रांसपेरेंसी, but the question is it has to be applied across the board, because if it is applied in political parties only, then you will weaken the political parties in respect to all the other institutions. I'm very happy to put RTI into political parties without a problem. I'll do it tomorrow morning if RTI is done in other institutions in the country, judiciary, press. I also want to put RTI, if you're going to put RTI in political party, I also want to put it in the top 20 businessmen of this country. I want to understand what they're doing. But I am more than happy to put RTI in political parties as long as we are doing it for other institutions. Because if you fundamentally weaken political parties as compared to other institutions, you're weakening the people of India. Now, next point. There are multiple ways in which you can attack corruption. Number one, Lokpal Bill. There is a Lokpal Bill with a man, independent man, who is allowed to investigate. That is not being allowed here under Mr. Narendra Modi. Now let's talk about RTI. Today, the RTI law itself has been demolished by the government. State after state after state doesn't have a RTI, a man in charge of RTI. Gujarat didn't have an RTI. नहीं, अरे भाई RTI तो हम लाए ना, RTI तो कांग्रेस पार्टी मनमोहन सिंह जी लाए. सेकंड, अगर आप सचमुच में करप्शन की बात करना चाहते हैं, सबसे बड़ा करप्शन किस में होता है? सबसे बड़ा करप्शन हिंदुस्तान में लैंड में होता है. इस बात से आप सहमत हैं कि जमीन में सबसे ज्यादा करप्शन उत्तर प्रदेश में मायावती जी की सरकार थी. 3000 एकड़ जमीन, 3000 एकड़ जमीन किसान से लेके फटाक मतलब रेस ट्रैक बनाने के लिए दे दिए. याद है आपको? उसकी मतलब अनलिमिटेड वैल्यू. हम लैंड एक्विजिशन बिल लाए. लैंड एक्विजिशन बिल में साफ लिखा था कि अगर आपने लैंड एक्वायर करनी है तो आपको किसान से पूछना पड़ेगा. अगर आप लैंड एक्वायर करना चाहते हो तो आपको किसान को 4 बार ज्यादा रेट देना पड़ेगा. नरेंद्र मोदी ने पहला काम क्यों किया इसको रद्द करने का? पहला काम लैंड एक्विजिशन बिल को रद्द करना है. क्यों? क्योंकि वो जमीन हिंदुस्तान की जमीन, हिंदुस्तान के आदिवासियों की जमीन, किसानों की जमीन इन्हीं 50 लोगों को देना चाहते हैं. सबसे हाई लेवल भ्रष्टाचार. और मैंने इतनी पिटाई खाई है, मैं आपको बता रहा हूं, ये सब लग गए मेरे पीछे. जिस दिन मैंने लैंड एक्विजिशन बिल का काम शुरू किया, जिस दिन मैं भट्टा परसौल गया, उस दिन से मेरी पिटाई शुरू हो गई. मैं बता रहा हूं आपको, धड़ाधड़ ये क्या कर रहा है, इसको रोको. तो आप बिटवीन द लाइंस भी थोड़ा देखिए. सबसे ज्यादा भ्रष्टाचार लैंड एक्विजिशन में. राहुल गांधी लैंड एक्विजिशन बिल को रिफॉर्म करने की कोशिश कर रहा है, उधर नरेंद्र मोदी उसको कैंसिल कर रहे हैं. पिटाई राहुल गांधी की हो रही है. छोटा सा सवाल, आपको क्या लगता है जो भ्रष्टाचार के खिलाफ लड़ेगा उसको पिटाई होगी, हां या ना? होगी ना? जो भ्रष्टाचार के खिलाफ नहीं लड़ेगा उसको पिटाई नहीं होगी ना? मीडिया देख लो, पिटाई किसकी हो रही है, मेरी या मोदी जी की? सीधी सी बात है. तो whether it is land acquisition, whether it is RTI, whether it is Narega, these are all, thank you, I'd like to conclude on this. 8 बजे प्रधानमंत्री आते हैं, कहते हैं भाइयों और बहनों, 500 रुपए का, 1000 रुपए का नोट मुझे अच्छा नहीं लगता. मुझे 2000 रुपए का अच्छा लगता है. मैं नोटबंदी करूंगा. सबसे पहले सबको लाइन में खड़ा कर दिया. छोटा सा सवाल आपसे, लाइन में अनिल अंबानी जी खड़े थे? मैंने तो नहीं देखा. लाइन में ये बड़े बड़े बिजनेसमैन खड़े थे. लाइन में काले धन वाले खड़े थे? मैंने तो नहीं देखा. लाइन में आप लोग खड़े थे? हाँ, आप काले धन वाले हो? आप चोर हो? नहीं. तो ईमानदार लोग लाइन के सामने क्यों खड़े थे? चोर छुपे क्यों थे? क्योंकि नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने आपके जेब में से पैसा निकालकर उनके जेब में डाला है। एंड आप देख लेना, अच्छी तरह सुन लीजिए, हिंदुस्तान की हिस्ट्री में सबसे बड़ा घोटाला, हिंदुस्तान की हिस्ट्री में सबसे बड़ा घोटाला नोटबंदी है। देख लेना, एक दिन ये सच्चाई निकलेगी, गारंटी करके आपको कह रहा हूं, एक दिन ये सच्चाई निकलेगी। नोटबंदी was the biggest scam in India's history. I want to leave you with one message. See, some of you might like me, some of you might not like me, some of you might be neutral to me. But I want to leave you with one message. Whoever you are supporting has to have the guts to come here in front of you and stand here in front of you and talk to you and listen to you. If he doesn't have the guts to come here and stand and talk to you and embrace you and listen to you, you need to question why he doesn't have the guts to come here. That's a simple thing. I want to finally tell you that you are our future. We are depending on you. You do not even understand. You do not even understand how much we believe in you. You do not even understand that we are absolutely convinced that you are going to take this country forward and you are going to make this the #1 country in the world. So you need to act with confidence, you need to act with self-belief, and most importantly, when someone tries to divide India, when someone tries to abuse somebody, when someone tries to beat somebody in front of you, defend him with your love and affection. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Hello. Thank you so much, sir.